Hey, top of the morning, everybody. Coming up here on The Sweat. So week 4 NFL salaries are out. Why Cooper Rush, so we're going to rip through some of those. Why Cooper Rush needs to be in the GOAT conversation right now. How hungover the Americans were after winning the President's Cup. Steve's going to get angry playing What's in the Hat. That's a given as we dish out some DFS plays around the diamond. And Jared Carrabis is here. The Red Sox have been eliminated, so it is time now to bow our heads and pray for God's blessing.
Unnecessary.
It's time for the takeoff, everybody. A Tuesday tradition unlike any other with DraftKings podcast host Jared Carrabis. Hey.
Hey, it's good to see you again.
Good to see you as well.
Yeah, I saw you on Friday.
Yeah,
you were like,
certainly did.
Yeah.
No, I don't know what that was.
You were double fisting some beers.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
I certainly was. We were having a good time. Blue Moon delivered big time for everybody. Everyone was sucking down suds, having a good time.
Yeah, I had a great time.
Have you recovered?
Yeah, I feel okay today. I mean, Saturday, I needed all day Saturday. My
Me
voice
too.
still hasn't recovered really either, so.
I did nothing on Saturday. I was such a bum.
Did you start Dahmer on Netflix?
No.
No?
No.
Oh, dude, get with the pop
I'm
culture.
not doing that. That's weird. Anyway,
Yeah,
and Tyler
really weird.
Milliken's still alive. We can confirm to our audience.
I haven't seen him, so I have no idea.
All right, so speaking of that, Red Sox have been eliminated from the playoffs here, dude. It's time to honor the life of your baseball team.
Sure.
You two were best friends. It is time now for you to deliver the eulogy for the 2022 Red Sox season.
Yeah, I mean, like 2022 Boston Red Sox, we barely knew ye. You know, I feel like the April sucked, May sucked, June was fun. We had a good time in June, right?
Little tease.
July sucked, August sucked, and now September sucks. So like, people are like tagging me in the tweets and stuff, being like, "Oh, did you see the Red Sox are eliminated?" Like we've been eliminated since April. I feel like this was a plane that quite literally never got off the ground. Like June, it was like, "Whoa, we're gonna get." Oh no, never got off the ground. So I really have no emotional attachment to this team whatsoever. Am I disappointed? Yeah, it's a year of my life that I'm never going to get back. I'm a 162 guy. I watch every single game. I actually had a moment last night where I was watching the game after an hour-long rain delay. They're getting smoked by the Orioles. There's 36 people in the stands. I'm like, what am I doing?
I don't know, man.
What am I doing? Why? Just go to bed. But I can't. I still watch. I watch every single game. But it's a pathetic team. It's a pathetic team, and I have no emotional attachment to it.
Are you going to hitch your wagon to another postseason squad, another team in the postseason right now?
Yeah, so
What do you want to do?
I haven't quite decided yet.
All right, when you do decide, I'm asking you to decide here on this show.
I will.
Okay?
And you know what? I think when I make my decision,
I mean, you have to do it in the next week or so.
I have to consult Steve Buchanan because he's a Mariners guy. I'm kind of a Mariners guy too, but I don't want to step on any toes. So if he'll have me, then maybe that's where I lean. But if he just wants to ride the Mariners wave by himself, I'll respect that.
Dude,
and there's
Steve
other
would love
avenues
to have
I can
you.
go down.
Steve
I don't know.
We'll have you aboard America's team.
We'll have to discuss. We'll have to discuss.
What about the Guardians? Because the Guardians have clinched.
Yeah.
I love that celebration too. They had they're popping bottles. They had a pizza party there, in the clubhouse.
Did you see the live Instagram?
I did not. What did I miss? Did I miss?
Maybe they shouldn't have been live for some of the things that were being said in the
Okay,
background.
I didn't know if things that were said or seen.
Well, they were chanting "Fire Tony" for Tony La Russa, who left the team for medical reasons.
Okay.
And then they were also yelling bleep the White Sox, which as a Guardians guy, I don't love that. I don't love that. I don't love that. I don't love that. Because
why?
Because you should be focused on
No
moving
one
up in the
no
world.
one was really giving them a shot though. They feel good. They had a chip on their shoulder. It was supposed to be like the White Sox division, right?
Sure, but If the White Sox are already dead, like, let them be dead.
No, absolutely not.
They're dead.
Stomp
They're
on their
already dead.
grave, man.
No.
Drop a deuce on it. Who cares? Because
no.
their payroll, the Guardians' payroll, is basically a third of what the Red Sox is.
Yeah.
So, like, they embraced the youth this year.
Sure. I think they were the youngest team ever to win a division, maybe?
Yeah, so here we go. Here's a fun fact. I'm glad you teed me up on it. Cleveland now the first team in AL/NL history to win a division or league title when seeing at least 16 rookies make their major league debuts.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
It is very impressive.
Yeah, and it's even more impressive when you consider that like they have, I think they ranked 29th out of 30 big league teams in home run percentage, which like that's baseball now. It's either walk, strikeout, home run, and the teams that hit the most homers are usually the best teams, and the Guardians don't hit any home runs. I think the Tigers were the only team that was worse at hitting home runs this year.
You know who hits a lot of home runs?
Who?
Albert Pujols.
Ah, yeah.
And we were at the party. We were at the watch party.
Were you
Jared.
still there by that point?
I was still there.
Ah.
You know what's so funny is when I was there, did you meet Big Nick, who works here at DraftKings? He was a large human being walking around the party.
Did I meet him?
Yeah,
I've known
you
him
probably
for like
did.
20 years.
Yeah.
We went to we're both Saugus guys.
Pujols hit 700,
Uh-huh.
and he's like, "Yeah, 699. All right." I'm like, "No, dude, you missed the first one. Like
Yeah.
this is 700."
Yeah.
Do you remember what the bar was like at Cask and Flagon when he hit 700?
I
It was
do.
awesome, dude.
Yeah, so I was Pat Light, my co-host on the Name Redacted podcast.
God.
He's 6'6".
I did not realize how tall and large he was.
He's huge. So he was on my right, and the camera was to the right of him. So when we're jumping up and down, you just can't see me. I'm like, I'm going nuts. And then eventually the camera turns. So I'm like tweeting, and someone's like, he hit 700 home runs, and you just immediately like look at your phone. I was like, no, I was pumped, but like
Yeah.
I was also eclipsed. It was a great moment. I'm a big Albert Pujols guy. I own multiple Albert Pujols jerseys from my childhood days. It was cool that he got to do it at Dodger Stadium. You know, it's a fan base that appreciates. If you can't do it at home in St. Louis, at least do it somewhere where I think a lot of fan bases would appreciate it. But he played there for even like a short stint.
Yep.
You know, I think the Dodger fans really could appreciate that.
Although it did happen on Apple TV, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how many people, definitely not as many people around America watched it as could have been if it was on like a Fox or ESPN or something.
I would agree. Yeah, it was unfortunate. But I mean, I feel like most people consume their sports on their phones anyway.
Sure.
So, like,
yeah,
the
everyone's
second
waiting for
that
you to
went
tweet
out-
about it.
Yeah, that tweet did numbies.
Yeah, I bet it did.
Yeah.
And we're waiting on your Judge hitting 61 tweet right now too. Like,
He's holding me hostage. You know
Yeah.
how many people are like, "Hey, you want to like hang out tonight?" And I'm like, "No, I can't. I gotta wait for Aaron Judge to hit a home run." Who
okay,
cares?
so his homerless streak now is up to 25 plate appearances,
Pathetic.
which remains well shy of his longest throughout the season, which was 41 plate appearances in August. But kind of as you tweeted here, are we starting to make maybe too big of a deal about him hitting 61 home runs in a season? Because Sammy Sosa, as you pointed out, did this 4 times, man. And the guy's just trying to watch, you know, he's looking like Dracula, watching everyone just fawning over Aaron Judge.
Yeah, poor Sammy Sosa. I mean, no one in Chicago welcomes that dude back. It's very sad.
Well, because no one recognizes him anymore.
That's fair. That's also fair.
you're not Sammy.
I mean, does 61 matter? It matters because of who's chasing it. Like, if this were Paul Goldschmidt, would people care as much? No. It's because it's Aaron Judge,
On the
who I
Yankees.
said he's the face of baseball.
Yes.
And he's on the Yankees. He's chasing a Yankee record. It's the American League. Like, that's all it is. I mean, yeah, like you've had Bonds do it. You've had Big Mac do it. Sammy Sosa did it 3 times in 4 years. But yeah, no, you have a Yankee chasing a Yankee record, and it's the American League record, but really it's the Yankee record. Like, no one cares.
And your boy Barry Bonds, I think, came out, it was during Sunday Night Baseball, and said, hey, 61 is the hardest number to hit. And he kind of put himself like in those shoes, which he has been there, and he's like 61 was like really tough, because that was that record like at the time that he was trying to.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like, I mean, hitting home
maybe
runs,
he's just trying to like, you know, give.
He's trying to be like, hey, Aaron,
nice
hurry
about
up and hit the
the
home
draft.
run.
Yeah, like,
you're
come on, dude.
loser. Yeah, I hit 73.
Do you like how all of these networks are doing these cut-ins? Like people, it was like Saturday. All the college football fans like super pissed off about it, like watching the ESPN.
I love that.
And they do like the cut-ins. Oh, I know. You have this rivalry now all of a sudden
With
with
football
people who
fans.
are like, Yes, over
it's
baseball.
an annual thing. It's an annual thing. Like I feel like every time that football season starts, and I all I do is tweet baseball. If you follow me, you know you're getting baseball. You can't walk into Home Depot and be like, "Why? Where are the cashmere sweaters?" It's like, no. You follow Jared Carrabis, you're getting baseball. That's exactly what I put out. So when football season starts, and I get all these people that tweet me like, "Oh, it's football season. Tweet about football." I'm not a football guy. I don't tweet about football. So now I love sitting back and watching baseball be shoved in the face of football fans. I just love
this. This is deserving of all the cut-ins, you believe, even though it's not the total record. It's the American League.
I mean, you're asking the wrong guy. Like from a petty standpoint, yes. Like I'm very happy that they're upset about this. Yeah.
What is worthy of your hot take this week? What is deserving of your hot take this week?
I got a hot one. I don't even know if it's that hot. I don't even know.
It just went from hot to not hot.
I mean, it's definitely a take. It's a take, and I truly believe this. I've been talking about it a lot, but I kind of want to get your thoughts on it as well.
All right. Is this why you've been so emotional in our text chain?
No.
Okay.
No, we'll talk about that off air.
Okay, sounds good.
Private conversation.
Billy, does Billy need to come in on this?
I think, can you get over here, Billy?
Oh.
Oh, we cut out?
Did we just lose
It's
video?
too hot.
All right,
It was too hot.
We're gonna have
All right,
to
we're
go.
here?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Go there right now.
The Maris family hates Aaron Judge. Oh my God, they hate Aaron Judge. Why can't they just acknowledge that they don't want this record to be broken? They asked Maris Jr. before the game on, I think it was Friday night or Thursday night. They're flying around the country. They're probably just mad because they just want to go home. But at the end of the day, they were like, "Hey, like, are you actually excited about this?" And they're like, "It's mixed emotions." That means no.
You probably played a role in this though.
Yeah,
because this was like 2 weeks ago, and it wasn't even your hot take. You called it a fact. Said Roger Maris sucks.
Yeah, he does suck. He does suck. He actually, did you know that he was not intentionally walked at all in 1961? People just weren't afraid of him. Yeah. They were like, "There's no way he can do it again."
Judge was intentionally walked last night.
Yeah, every time. Yeah. So I think when you kind of boil it down, that ball, I think it was Thursday night's game.
Yeah.
Matt Barnes, it was to like dead center. Everyone was like, "Oh my God, it's a home run!"
I remember that.
If the video shot that they did on the Maris family, nothing. Everyone else was like arms in the air. They were smiling. They were screaming. The Maris family was just like.
Are they in Toronto right now? Do you know?
Yeah, they are.
Oh, they are. Because like all of Judge's family too is like following him around the country right now.
Yeah, but they love him. Maris family hates him. Hates him.
Is it going to happen? When will it happen?
I don't think it ever is. I don't think he's going to.
You think dude's just stuck on 60 for the rest of this season?
I think it's really getting to him. Yeah. I mean, did you see the shirt that he was wearing yesterday when he showed up to the Rogers Center? It said New York or nowhere. So he's telling you, I'm not going to hit a home run in Toronto.
Okay, I didn't know if that had to do like with free agency, New York or nowhere.
No.
Because there's already rumors about him coming to the Red Sox.
Yeah, right. He doesn't want to come back to the Yankees. That might be about the Mets.
Very true. They have a lot of money and they are willing to spend it.
Yeah, that's my other hot take. He's not going to hit 61.
I think you may have just buried the hottest take of the two.
Yeah. I don't even. I think a lot of people feel that way though. That's like a majority opinion at this point.
All right, there you go.
Yeah.
Hot take of the week there.
60.
Thanks, bro.
Hey, it's good to see you.
All right, we're gonna talk some football, and Jeff and Pierce are gonna bring some hot takes to the table after this commercial break.
Baseball is dead? Nah. We've got pitchers hitting grand slams, a team playing a four-man outfield, and the best crop of major league talent maybe ever. Baseball is alive and well, and it's about to get even better. Bet just $5 to get 100 in free bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, sign up with the promo code, bet $5 to get 100 instantly, and get in on the action.
Everyone loves an underdog story. You know why? Because it fills you with hope, makes you believe, right? Hold on now. Did you say any team? So now I can bet the overdog for underdog odds? Team Overdog, where you at? Let me hear you.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Bet just $5 to win $200 if your team wins. Action's so good, why bet NFL anywhere else?
You know, betting without a game plan is a little like skating a giant ramp without helmet and pads. I wouldn't risk it. And I wouldn't bet without a game plan. DraftKings Sportsbook provides you with tools to set a realistic budget and time limits, so you're ready to bet responsibly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook and casino apps to learn more about how you can practice safe bets.
All right, so about that game last night, right? 'Twas a slow burn the first two quarters, and the Cowboys and Giants could only manage 3 freaking field goals. But then Cooper Rush, Mr. Reliable, rallied the troops, handing the Giants their first loss. So now the Giants plus 1,000 to win the division. Cowboys plus 380. Eagles heavy favorite minus 3,000 or minus 300 rather. Everyone's just aiming to keep up with Philly right now, who will likely suffer its first loss on Sunday against the Jaguars. DK contributors Jeff Ulrich, Pierce Dietrich are in the house this morning. Cooper Rush has won 100% of the games that he has started. So to put that in perspective for you here, Jeff Ulrich, Tom Brady has a career winning percentage of 76.4. So it is time to have a conversation about putting Cooper Rush in the GOAT debate, Jeff.
I don't think there's a more Emerson stat than taking a win-loss percentage of a guy who's played 3 NFL games so far. But okay, sure. I look. What are we talking about here? Are we talking about the Cowboys and their chances to win the division? You've got me all flustered. I don't know. Cooper Rush, is Cooper Rush even the story from this Cowboys 2-game winning streak? Not really. It's the defense, right? I mean, holding Joe Burrow to 17 points, beating up on Daniel Jones for 4 quarters.
Yeah.
Poor Daniel Jones every time he goes back to pass. Looks like he's about to get, driven into the dirt. But Cooper Rush is serviceable. He's fine. He's not doing anything poorly. He's not turning the ball over. When you have a really good defense and you don't turn the ball over, there's like a better than 50% chance you're going to win the game. So he's going out, he's doing stuff. But as far as where Dallas is now in the odds.
Jeff, I was gonna say, in all seriousness, like, he's dependable, and that's really all the Cowboys need from him right now. So, like, how do you feel about Dallas? Betting Dallas to win this division.
Yeah.
Like, if he can continue this and not lose them games, like, if Dak comes back, I don't know, can they give Philly a run for its money?
I think that if I had, let's think about it this way. If I had a piece of Philly, maybe like before the season, I would probably think about hedging with Dallas right now, simply because that defense, I think, is good enough to potentially make some noise and get Dallas some wins down the stretch and just put them in a spot where maybe they have a showdown late with the Eagles. Where they can potentially grab the division. Their schedule is up and down. They have a lot of weaker teams, but obviously they have to play Philly twice still. They got Green Bay on the docket as well. So I think, like, just with the way the defense is going and the fact that Rush isn't turning into, melted sugar every week, that's a good thing. It probably puts Dallas in position to at least have a shot, but I still think they're going to have a tough time getting past the Eagles, who's got a really cake schedule. So, no, it'd be more of a hedge thing with me where Dallas is in the odds. I'm not going out to bet them just on their own.
Would you do that, Pierce? Would you bet them right now to win this division?
No chance. No way. They've had a pretty favorable schedule. They're not really. Now, I get it. People say, well, the Bengals are a good team, but the Bengals were a perfect matchup for the Cowboys in that the Bengals had trouble on their offensive line. The Cowboys have had a pretty strong pass rush, a good pass defense. And so it worked out for them. Give them credit. They're winning games. Cooper Rush is basically, maybe he's the GOAT of game managers at the moment. He's not making any mistakes. The offensive line's playing really well. It looked like the running backs were running well, but really, if you watch that game, it's just on the line of scrimmage. Dallas was just controlling the ball, and you were getting 10 yards off of the line every time to open up some of these big plays. Either way, the running backs look fine. The offensive line looks well. Rush isn't making any mistakes. Pass rush is pretty solid given the matchups. Pass defense is starting to get some of those turnovers that they got last year. The concern is once the schedule gets a little bit tougher, and you put a little bit more pressure on Rush and make him have to make plays, he's going to make mistakes, and they're going to start losing games. I mean, they almost lost last night to the Giants, and that was not a good team.
No.
If they face any team that's slightly better than the Giants, they're going to lose that.
Okay, so then Pierce, like, on top of, like, the situational, like, miscues, the Giants' offensive line did struggle to contain Dallas's pass rush, and Daniel Jones was under siege all night long. So then I take it you do not feel New York is a playoff team based on your comments just now. Plus 200 to make the postseason on the DK Sportsbook.
Yeah, that offense looked pretty anemic. I don't want to blame the offensive line. They did their job. Jones just held the ball really long. because no one could get open. Look at that wide receiver core, and it just got even more depleted when Shepard just, I don't even know what happened. If you watch the replay, all of a sudden his knee just dies.
Yeah,
he doesn't make a cut, he doesn't make a move. It's almost like he's trying to file for a workers' comp claim or something. I don't know what happened there. And the Giants are in trouble in the wide receiver core. No one's getting open, and so Jones is doing the smart thing. He's not forcing passes, but that means he's going to take sacks or have to scramble. And the scrambling looks good for DFS, but you can't do that for an entire season. You're not going to find success relying on Jones to scramble all year and win games if he's able to survive, which he won't be able to. And then as this offense gets even more one-dimensional, it's going to put even more pressure on Barkley, who's looked good. He's looked fast, making good cuts. Awesome when he gets into the second level, and he did that a couple times last night. But as teams are able to key in on him because the pass game's non-existent, it's going to be a long season for him as well. I'm not very bullish on the Cowboys. I think the Giants are even worse shape.
Yeah, Jeff, I think the Giants have one of the longest playoff droughts in the NFL. I mean, least playoff win droughts, and I don't think they've been to the postseason since 2016. Are they a playoff team this year?
You know, they have a weak schedule, and that was one of the things that people liked about the Giants. Potentially, it's just a little dark horse before the season, but man, like, I am with Pierce here. No chance.
Yeah.
No. What are they going to do next week in terms of throwing the ball if they can't get Kadarius Toney on the field, who Brian Daboll might just bench anyways, even if he is healthy? Throw the ball to Kenny Golladay. Oh my God, what a bad contract that is, by the way. We can talk about that the rest of the show. But no, the Giants can't protect Daniel Jones. As Pierce alluded to, Saquon looks good. He's getting good usage. You like that. Teams are just going to start ganging up on him, though, because they don't have anyone else to guard out there. Daniel Bellinger, is he going to start breaking plays? No, probably not. So the Giants, even against weaker teams, and some of these teams that they do have on the docket, by the way, aren't looking as bad as they were preseason. I think this team is in. Unfortunately, they look better coached this year. They do. Like they look like they had a chance to win that game, but they just don't have the talent right now. They don't have the depth at O-line. You've seen Daniel Jones under pressure so much. They don't have any bodies at wide receiver, and I just don't think Daniel Jones is good enough to go out there and just perform miracles like Lamar Jackson is doing in Baltimore.
So Giants make the playoffs again, plus 200 for yes, no, minus 250. Both the Cowboys and Giants are around a field goal favorite in week 4, by the way. And speaking of that, there's another main slate millie maker for Sunday cooking right now in the DraftKings lobby. More than $4 million in prizes up for grabs. First place taking home $1 million and a Tournament of Champions semifinal ticket. Let's take an early look at the Sunday salaries, gentlemen. It's time for a healthy dose of price check. So keep in mind, thanks to a London game kicking off in the morning, Sunday's main slate for DFS tournaments. It features just 12 games here. Jeff, which quarterback stands out to you right now?
So at the top for week 4 here coming up, we've got, the big guns. We've got the Russian quarterbacks, Murray, Hurts, Jackson, Josh Allen. Josh Allen against the Baltimore secondary, if you're going to pay up, that's where you got to go. But if you're not going with that tier quarterback, let's get a little crazy.
Oh.
Zach Wilson's coming back this week, boys.
What?
5,200. And he's taken on the Pittsburgh Steelers, who just made Jacoby Brissett, look like Michael Vick, a cross between Michael Vick and Joe Montana. A best QB rating on the season. Zach Wilson's got elite wide receivers to work with here. He's got some depth at tight end. He's got 2 pass-catching running backs. I think Zach Wilson comes out of the gates flying here because the Pittsburgh Steelers secondary is not good. And I think that, this is going to get exposed by Elijah Moore, by Garrett Wilson. I think Zach Wilson at 5,200, he's going to have to throw the ball because the Jets are just as bad on their side of the ball in defense and guarding. So 5,200, again, if you are not paying up for one of these 4 Russian quarterbacks, and I do like Josh Allen, but again, you're looking for a play, give me Zach Wilson this week. Let's go big or go home.
Oh, my God. Okay, so are you going to go big or are you going to go home, Pierce, at quarterback?
The first thing I'm going to do, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Memento where the guy gets the tattoos to remind himself of stuff. I'm going to get a tattoo that reminds myself, don't let Jeff talk you into Zach Wilson.
No.
I know this is going to be a week-long process. Where, that's kind of looking good. It's looking smart. Don't let it happen. Just pay up. Take Josh Allen. Allen, the fundamentals from this offense look amazing. They look great. Of course, Buffalo needs to cut out the mistakes. But those things are going to happen. But when you watch play-by-play and what this team does from an execution perspective, They look amazing. He's going to continue to look amazing. I imagine they're going to roll into this game very hungry, very angry. And as Jeff alluded to, Baltimore's a pretty good matchup. If you look at what Baltimore has allowed the other teams to do, they made Flacco look good, Tua look good. Last week, I recommended Mac Jones, and then the people in the back room were shocked and were gasping. And then look what he did. He's not even 100% healthy, doesn't have anybody to pass to, and he put up an amazing number on Baltimore. What do you expect Josh Allen in this revenge type of game from last week? He's gonna go crazy.
Yeah, I mean, Bills-Ravens is another game where it feels like that DFS drool fest like we kind of expected between Miami and the Bills. And even though Allen's coming off what seems like a down game, Pierce, where the Bills put up just 19 points as a team, and I think he accounted for just 2 touchdowns, he still had nearly 31 DraftKings points as well. So let's go to running back here. Let me take a gander at the running back salary. So yeah, it's similar to the quarterback position, pretty top heavy here, Pierce, with about 4 guys that'll cost you at least $8,000. So what do you want to do here at running back?
I'm going to try save because I want to spend up at quarterback, and you always want to spend up at wide receiver. So I'll take Dameon Pierce again.
Ooh.
Last week, he had that week that we expected. Some people jumped on him a little bit too early. Now is the time, and he's still relatively affordable. We know that Houston pretty much doesn't have anyone else, and so he is going to be a main focus. He's not that good, but he really is all that Houston has. You got an old school coach that likes to run the ball, had a solid week last week in a favorable matchup. He's going to roll into another favorable matchup this week. The Chargers struggled against the run last season. They're struggling against the run again this season. The Chargers have defensive injuries and issues they're dealing with. They rank 30th in run DVOA. And in terms of fantasy points allowed, they rank 26th to running backs. I don't know if he'll have an amazing game, but he'll have a pretty solid floor, and it'll be a good play point per dollar wise.
Yeah, James Robinson just ran for 100 yards, put up 24 DK fantasy points against them. Jeff, whose salary stands out to you in the running backs department?
Well, look, I mean, as you guys can make fun of me about Zach Wilson, but I'm looking ahead here. I'm trying to plan out my roster one by one. And we've got some juicy matchups at running back. You're probably not just going to want to pay up for one guy. You're probably going to want to pay up for multiple. We'll start with Jonathan Taylor here.
Oh.
The Tennessee Titans defense has not looked good guarding against the run without Harold Landry. They're last in yards per carry against. Jonathan Taylor's had a couple slow weeks, and now his salary has dipped to $8,800. I'm not necessarily big on the Colts being good, but they're probably better than the Titans. And Jonathan Taylor versus the Titans D-line right now is a complete mismatch. He's seen pretty light usage over the last couple games. This is a big division game. He's going up against the former king of the running backs, Derrick Henry. I say former because Jonathan Taylor is going to be the king after he goes for about 250 yards next week, which he's going to. I also like Javonte Williams at 6,600. I think that he's totally underrated. Vegas is not good. They've given up a ton of receptions to opposing running backs too. So right off the top, I haven't even mentioned Eckler against Houston and other things, but right off the top, there's 2 guys. Jonathan Taylor's who you want to get up to. That's who we're going to pair with Zach Wilson, Pierce, when we're making lineups on Saturday night, okay, pal? So just keep that in your mind. Get your tattoo ready. Zach Wilson, Jonathan Taylor, that's how we're starting, okay?
All right, Pierce, you said you want to pay up at wide receiver. Let's go quickly. Who do you want?
Well, I'm going to go actually in the middle here. A guy that'll fit in all lineups. Amari Cooper. The Atlanta Falcons have allowed the 4th most fantasy points to wide receivers. A.J. Terrell's a good cornerback, but he's not a shutdown cornerback. And Cooper's got a solid floor, double-digit targets his last 2 games, over 100 receiving yards. Let's give some credit to the Browns. Also, they got extended breaks since of a Thursday game. Cooper, good floor.
Who do you want, Jeff?
Give me Elijah Moore to pair with my Zach Wilson stack here. Elijah Moore, 10 targets last week. Again, Pierce just talked about the outside receiver just went for 100 yards against the Steelers. Steelers giving up 100-yard games like candy. Nelson Aguilar, Elijah Moore is far better than Nelson Aguilar. If Nelson Aguilar can go for 100 yards, Elijah Moore can get off the mat here with Zach Wilson. 4,800, great cheap stack with Wilson.
Guys, we're out of time, unfortunately. We're not going to be able to discuss your favorite position of them all, which is tight end, which I'm sure you guys were both rostering like a $800 fifth-string player. So, Pierce, adios. Maybe you want to join Jeff and I on the slate tomorrow night. It's completely up to you because Reed's taking a 5-month vacation. But Ulrich, we'll talk some golf with you and Jason Sobel coming up in this show. But first, guys, Rainmakers football, let's go. The next generation of fantasy football, and you can play it exclusively on DraftKings this season. So Rainmakers, first ever NFT fantasy football game where you build your roster through NFT pack drops, set your lineup each week, win all kinds of new NFTs and prizes along the way. And if you're already involved but looking to enhance your first collection, or just whatever collection it is, get your first Superstar Player Card NFT for just $9.99. A top quality player is guaranteed with purchase. So we have DraftKings content manager Chirag here live in studio. Dude, what did winning Rainmakers lineups look like in week 3?
Well, we have to start off with the V-Friends contest. 24-55 entrants total in here. Khalil Herbert was the big name, but don't forget Devontae Smith also putting up 33.9 fantasy points. Hollins stepping in for Hunter Renfrow. Tyler Lockett, another consecutive week of 9 receptions. And then Derek Carr was able to put it together for the winning lineup. But the crazy part about the winning lineup for the V-Friends contest, the winner did not even win by more than 1 point. This was a tight, amazing contest because the top 5, though, got to have a Monday Night Football viewing experience for last night's game with Gary V. So even though they didn't win the first prize, they were still available to be a part of that. And Lamar Jackson led that team. Dameon Pierce, Chris Olave, Devontae Smith, another player that was over in the first player lineup, and then Kendrick Osborne with that late tutty was able to pull it out for the second place finish. But the big one, we had a week 3 Web3 promotion, 14 NFTs. The biggest top brands in the space were available. But first place for the Rainmakers contest, Bored Ape, Lamar Jackson took it to the spot. Bored Ape 899.7 was the one that was given out as the free NFT for winning this contest. Lamar Jackson, Joe Mixon, Rashad Bateman, Mark Andrews double stack with the Ravens, and then Amon-Ra St. Brown. He got injured, but was able to come back and take it down. And another really, really, really tight contest right there. The winner didn't even win by more than 1 point. But the great part about this, I want you guys to see Tyreek Hill, 5.3 points. You're able to do well in these contests. Joe Mixon, 6.8 points. You don't always have to have the best lineup, the best opportunities. Put yourself in a position to win. If you can put the best lineup together, there are chances in these contests to win with under 10 fantasy points. Sure, the guy missed out by 1 point, but hey, look, second place still up there. He didn't win the Bored Ape, but was still able to compete. First place, won it by 1 point. He also had Joe Mixon here. He had Rashad Bateman, 6.9 points. Like I'm saying, you can win these contests with players scoring under 10 points, and that guy won a Bored Ape.
All right, cool. So what kind of promos and prizes do we have going on this week?
So the promos that we have this week is the Gary V one. As I mentioned earlier, the Gary V contest. Week 4 prizes, Gary V NYC Experience coming up for everybody. But this is for everybody that qualified from the 3 contests from week 1 to week 3. They'll only be able to play in this private contest. And as you can see here, the top 2,000 also get a prize. So pretty much if you're able to qualify for that, you're able to get a prize. But moving forward, we also have this new deep roster contest every single week. We have additional $200K in prizing, but the deep roster, additional kicker, defensive player, and another flex option here. So what's really important, the defensive player and the kicker was the ones that were added to it. You can pick up really good players, but then also the tight end. Previously, you were only able to use your tight end in that wide receiver tight end spot, but now it's in the tight end by itself. So that's the deep roster, new format, kicking off for week 4. But then also we have Steve Aoki's All-Star League coming back for this week. So you want to make sure to go here on the DK Nation page. I will update it with the contest links and all the prizes for week 4. So you don't want to miss out on Steve Aoki, Gary V's league, deep roster format, and also the feature star player is available in the DraftKings lobby.
All right, speaking of those players, which players, before you take off, which players should people be looking at ahead of week 4?
So I'm going to start off quickly with the showdown matchups. So Jamar Chase is a player that I'm looking for in this Thursday Night Football showdown. He is sitting at only $25 for his core card. So that's not too expensive. It's going to be in the superstar positions. You want to make sure to have him in your lineup. But then moving on to the Sunday Night Football game, I'm looking at Travis Kelce. He's not a superstar, so you can stack him with Patrick Mahomes. The course card is only $30. And then moving over to the Monday Night Football one, I'm looking at Cooper Kupp. Obviously, this is an obvious one. He had his first rushing touchdown in a minute last week. But coming out, he's going to be playing on Monday Night Football. So those are the ones I'm looking for: Thursday night, Sunday night, Monday night. But then moving on to the main slate, Khalil Herbert. We showed him in the winning lineup from earlier, and he's going to be a big part of this offense now. This team leads the league in rushing attempts. You cannot forget about that. $9.74 to play his player card in a contest for core. Then I move on. Lamar Jackson. He has been at an MVP level. It's a contract year. You know how he does it, and you want to have him in your lineup. Keep in mind, he is a superstar. So $24.99 for his card. You can only play him. If you buy him in this core set here, you can only play him in the core contest. He's a superstar, so only one superstar per lineup. And lastly, new deep roster format. Looking at defensive players now because of the deep roster format. Jair Alexander is a player that I'm considering for this week. $4.25. The really cool part about it is you're not getting the stats of Jair Alexander. You're getting the stats of the Green Bay Packers. They're playing against the Patriots this week. Mac Jones is not going to be available. Try to take advantage of a defensive opportunity, get a cheap card in your lineup, and get the points for that defense. So those are the 6 plays that I'm looking at for this week.
Disrespecting Brian Hoyer like that?
Come on, man.
Wow. Grow up, bro. All right. We'll talk to you soon. Love you, Chirac.
Yeah.
We're playing America's favorite game involving a hat right after these words from Kevin Hart.
Lamar, Zeke, Stephon, you've all been summoned to the Kevin verse.
You gotta be kidding me.
You're here because you're on my DraftKings Rainmakers fantasy team.
I liked him better when he was tiny.
Lamar, keep talking and I'll put you on a tiny bench. I've collected your digital player cards, and you're gonna help me build my NFT fantasy franchise so I can start crushing the competition. I need you all at 100%. Zeke, you're gonna catch a cold in that crop top. Maybe you should consider putting your belly button away. Hey, Lamar, you getting enough sleep? I seen you posting pictures in the club.
You stalking me?
Diggs, you gotta keep your hands moist so they stay soft. Nice and moist.
Please stop saying moist. We done here, man.
Well, go ahead. There's the exit. Ha!
Build a roster by opening packs and joining drops and win a share of over $1 million in prizes every week of the NFL season. Download the DraftKings Daily Fantasy app to get your free full roster starter pack. DraftKings Rainmakers Football. Build, play, win.
All right, here we are. Steve Buchanan has joined us here in studio. Gary and Thorne, our friend in the Great White North, has also joined us because when you two were together.
Well, happy to see him in his apartment.
Yeah, that is great. Yeah. Did you ever make it onto the elevator last week?
So my neighbor was also out in the hallway trying to walk his dog, I guess, or take his dog on the elevator, very confused that I was carrying a laptop and a mic onto an elevator. I also realized at a certain point my Wi-Fi would cut out.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot going on there.
Yeah.
I made some choices.
Yeah, you certainly did. You certainly did. Your neighbor's like, man, that Gary and Thorne, he certainly gets weird. Okay, and that's what we're here to do because it's what's in the hat. We love this game. You guys are always cool, calm, and collected. Real quick, this is how it works. You guys pick a name out of the hat. You guys will then put them in one of the 4 categories on your screen for the night. And you guys both also each have a pass here in case you don't like the name. You want to force the opposing analyst to stuff said player in a lineup. Last week, what happened? Oh, you won. Steve, you won last week? I feel like you've been on a drought, right?
No, I've been on a drought.
Yeah,
Well,
Gary's been on
no,
a drought.
Steve a couple of weeks in a row like screwed himself with not passing when he should have. And again, this is a game that he basically came up with. So let's start this week. Go ahead, Bukes. You won. Pick name at hat. This is your guy. Let's go. Show it to Billy.
Brandon Donovan. I'm going to pass this right to Gary. I'm going to give it right to Gary.
Yes.
All right.
Let's go.
You know what? I think Brendan Donovan's a fine player. He's probably going to bat leadoff tonight for the Cardinals against Adrian Hauser, who, as Steve knows very well, I feel like we've been talking about this for a half decade, cannot pitch to left-handed batters. He's been terrible against lefties this season, giving up an average over 300 within the split. I think Donovan gets over 5 DraftKings points tonight. He's not amazing, but at his price point, he might be a perfectly solid DFS play tonight.
Oh, all right. Sounds good. Let's go to you. What do you want to do here? Matt Olson. Oh, Matt Olson.
Yeah. Okay.
So wait, is this is for you, right? Or is this for Garion? How does this work when you pass? Does it come back to you? It's just for Garion. Garion, this is for you.
All right, I'll give it to Steve. Steve can have it.
Oh my God, this is so kind.
Reverse Uno. It's been pretty amazing.
Okay, Matt Olson, what do you want to do?
So to be fair, Olson's been having like a terrible month of September. He's like barely getting any hits at this point. Only 3 extra base hits the entire month of September, which is pretty awful for him. But he's going up against Paulo Espino, who has been really poor against lefties. 325 WARBA against him. 6 home runs to left-handed bats. We did finally see a home run from Olson the other night. So I think he starts to kind of turn this around here. Be a little bit conservative. I'll put him in the I'll put him in the 5 spot. I was thinking about doing 0 because there's been a lot of zeros this month.
Yeah,
we'll put
He's
him in
hitting
the
127 in September.
Yeah, it's been bad. It's been bad.
Reaching Chris Davis territory lately.
Yeah.
All right, so both of you have used your pass right off the bat. Both of you have decided to stuff your player in the 5+ point category. Here, man.
Nice.
This is for you.
Logan Webb.
Okay. This is for you.
Yeah,
What's wrong?
Logan Webb's been he's been a tough guy to figure out. That's the problem. He's got a great matchup against the Colorado Rockies.
Oh, well, that's
so we do like that. That is a positive. So I'm going to put him in the 10 fantasy point spot here tonight, going up against Colorado. Had a great start in the last start against the Rockies at Coors Field. Had 24.8 DraftKings fantasy points over the course of the year. Now that brings him at 17.6 DraftKings fantasy points. Put him in the 10 spot here. Don't want to mess things up so early because we've already done the passes. Everything's going a little bit off the rails here already. So 3 starts, 17.6 DraftKings fantasy points. Put him in the 10 spot.
Okay, here. What's Garion's?
Let's see what Garion has. The Turner of Trey. Trey Turner.
Trey Turner.
This one's actually kind of interesting. Trey Turner kind of quietly has been pretty average the last 6 weeks. He's also got a really tough matchup against Blake Snell. I mean, yes, he's great against left-handed hitters. He's got a 250 isolated power within the split this year, but Blake Snell's been phenomenal in his last 5 starts. I'm going to say 10 DraftKings points just because he's Trey Turner, but it's a really tough matchup. Blake Snell is not your average left-handed pitcher.
All right, this is going to be boom or bust then, I guess, the rest of the way. Because you either have 20+ fantasy points or you're going to stuff your player inside 0. Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm just letting you do the work today,
That's
man.
okay, that's fine.
I'm tired.
Okay, I'm fine with this. James Caprillion. I'll put him right in the 20 spot, James Caprillion.
Wow.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. He is vastly underpriced tonight. I'm surprised at how cheap he is at $5,500.
Why, has he been good lately?
Well, you know what it is? It's he's not great, but he's not bad, but he's definitely better than 5,500. So going up against the Angels tonight, I think it is a great matchup for him. Kind of had a mixed bag results in the first 2 matchups that he's had against him. 10 1/3 innings, 4 runs allowed on 12 hits, but he is striking out over a batter an inning against the Angels here, and I think that's where that kind of comes through here. I mean, the Angels stink. I mean, get rid of that franchise. Banish that franchise. Stinks. Get rid of Trout. Get rid of Ohtani. Caprillion, he's going to wipe the floor with them here tonight, so we can put him in the 20
Should they
spot.
just promote the Salt Lake Bees to the major leagues and then...
They kind of have.
He's not wrong.
True.
He's
Okay,
not
here
wrong.
we go.
They've already used that option.
Delane Train Thomas, this is your guy. Where are you going, 20 or 0? Come on, coward.
You know what? I really do like Lane Thomas tonight. He's phenomenal against left-handed pitching. He's batting leadoff for the Nationals, but at the same time, it's just so hard to project Lane Thomas to score 20 DraftKings points.
Oh.
I mean, Mueller has been struggling at the major league level. 9 earned runs in 7 2/3 innings, but yeah, just with the way the hat has spoken today, I've got to put Lane Thomas in 0 DraftKings points.
All right, so Bukes, this individual will be in your 0 fantasy points category. Who is it going to be?
Yeah, you read it. I won't look. Okay, you can't read that?
How do I say his name?
Oh, Hassan Kim.
Okay, I didn't want to disrespect
So
him.
I definitely would not normally put him in the 0 DraftKings fantasy point, but because of how the game is played out, that's where he's going to have to go. But, I mean, to be fair, He's done a very good job of making the Padres forget about Fernando Tatis Jr. Granted, he doesn't have the power that he does, but since that announcement came down, 8 doubles, 4 home runs, 16 RBI, and 14 runs scored in 37 games since that announcement of Tatis came down. I think he does a lot better than 0 fantasy points tonight, but that's just how the game played out. At least it's not Julio Rodriguez. That's all I care about. But yeah, we'll put him in the 0 spot.
We didn't need you
On that
walking out
note,
again.
please don't pick Carlos Santana.
Here we
for me.
go.
Please don't do it.
Hold on a second. Now, it's going to be one of these 3. And
I'm feeling the middle.
You are? I'm kind of feeling the middle, too.
All right. Come on,
Let's
Carlos
see
Santana.
the moment of truth. Carlos Santana! Yeah! Go ahead. Walk outside. Freak your neighbor out and his dog. Look at that.
Look at how stupid
Look
Gary
at that,
is.
you moron. Wow.
Here's what I'll say. For my Mariners.
Whoa, hey,
Oh,
hey,
wait
hey.
a minute.
Whoa,
Wait a
whoa,
minute.
Whoa.
Don't
You've
do
taken
that.
the segment too far.
Jared and Steve are like the captains of America's teams
Of a
fan
sinking
club.
ship. Yeah, I know. They've lost
Whoa,
like 7
whoa,
games.
hey.
Below 500 recently.
chill.
Look, Carlos Santana's terrible. He should not be playing at the major league level anymore. He's hitting 160 since the All-Star break. However, almost every single one of those hits is a home run. On the off chance he actually gets a hit tonight, he might just get to 20 DraftKings.
He could. No, he could. Like, he legit. He's like probably the only guy that's hitting like a below 200 that I would say he could have 20 DraftKings fantasy points. So,
All right. Well, that was fun. No crazy walk-off finish here. Way to keep it
if Gary
sane.
could leave, he would, I think.
It's
Although
really
he took
hard
some
for me
shots
to
at you
leave
in
this
Seattle,
out.
dude.
Yeah, please. Blue Jays aren't going far.
All right, baseball dudes, y'all are free to go. So Jason Sobel's going to take there we go. Jason Sobel's going to take a victory lap, plus
you
who
don't
to
have to
bet
follow
at the
me this time, it's
Sanderson
okay.
Farms Championship after our final break. Be well, my sweet chinchilla.
You want to be a showstopper? You want to be awesome? Then you'll want to have a game plan. Whether you're a champion or a bettor, you gotta be responsible. Have a realistic budget and bet within your means. Set a time limit, then stick to it. And use the DraftKings Sportsbook and Casino apps. They offer all these tools and more so you can practice safe bets. Can I get a mic to drop?
Hold up. DraftKings, you're telling me that you're boosting same-game parlays? Well, that's big time. Actually, big is big enough. We're going to need a new word. Jumbo-munganous. No, tremendous. Gargantuloso. See? The pink duck gets it.
DraftKings stepped up same-game parlays. Boost your winnings up to 100% for our biggest payouts ever. Action's so good, why bet NFL anywhere else?
What'd you say, Carl?
Baseball's dead? Nah. We've got pitchers hitting grand slams, a team playing a 4-man outfield, and the best crop of major league talent maybe ever. Baseball is alive and well, and it's about to get even better. Bet just $5 to get 100 in free bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, sign up with the promo code, bet $5 to get 100 instantly, and get in on the action.
Look at this. The American boys were buzzing after winning the President's Cup over the weekend, and Jason Sobel tweeting a great quote here from the party master in chief, Kevin Kisner. There's nothing these guys can do to hang with me tonight. I've never seen a better group of golfers and worse group of partiers. What's funny, dude, Jason and Jeff Ulrich, they're here to help us out with some golf bets this week. Max Homa then tweeting, did you see his tweet the next morning? I am unwell.
Yeah, I spoke with a source in Camp Homa, let's say,
Yeah.
and he wasn't doing so good on Monday morning.
Yeah, no, he was in rough shape. Jeff Ulrich, he's always unwell, but you are in good shape right now, Jason, because after your final score prediction here from last week, I would like to revisit more history made here during our Tuesday golf segment on The Sweat. Let's get your prediction on the final score of the tournament. What is your favorite bet here, Jay?
It's 17.5 to 12.5. I don't love the odds on going exact score. You got to be really sure of it. Boy, I wish they were a little bit bigger, but if you want to have some fun with it, where is it? 17.5, 12.5,
Yep.
plus 850?
Yep.
Whew. Again, traders killing me, guys. I want double that for picking it right, for getting it exactly right.
We all
Come
would,
on.
yeah. Sobel, I know you're not a big victory lap guy, but figure it out, grow up, take one anyway. It's tough to predict that thing.
You know what? One putt goes here
Come
or
on.
there. It could be 18-12, 17-13. I just happen to middle it 17.5, 12.5. We all get lucky once in a while, Emerson.
Hey,
Not a big deal.
Listen, you don't.
I don't get lucky.
No, Jeff Ulrich, yes, you do. Relax. Silva, you don't get that half point. Kevin Kisner, that half point was the difference for you. Like you and Kiz, man, you're on the team together.
Look, we have to factor in all of these things beforehand. When the U.S. goes up by that much, Kisner's going to be in the final match. He's going to want to get out of there. He's not going to win. We have to factor in this stuff on Tuesday when we're looking at these things beforehand.
All right, so now I need you to use that same crystal ball to help us with bets ahead of the Sanderson Farms Championship here. So we do have a couple President Cup participants here. So we have defending champion, that's Sam Burns, is the favorite this week at plus 1,100. International team member, you got Christian Bezadenhout also teeing it up this week. He's at plus 2,800. So Jay, of the golfers at the top here, plus 2,800 or better, who do you have your eye on? There's 6 guys to choose from.
Yeah, first of all, hard not to like Sam Burns this week. Defending champion. He's defended in the past. He defended at the Valspar just this past year. So we know he can do it. We could have back-to-back winners. Hang with me here to start the season. Max Homa successfully defended his title to kick off the season 2 weeks ago. Sam Burns could very well do the same thing. He played much better than the record at the President's Cup this past week. He was 0-3-2, but if you actually watched, he played some really good golf and just got beat. Scotty Scheffler, the world's #1 player, of course, dragging him down as a partner for 3 of those matches. That said, I'm going to go a little bit bigger than Sam Burns as far as the odds. Danny McCarthy, 4 consecutive top 20 finishes at the Sanderson Farms Championship, only a matter of time. It's a when, not an if, he wins his first career PGA Tour title. Love Danny McCarthy, one of the world's best putters this week. And then I'm not going to overlook my boy Sahith Theegala. I'm just going to mention his name on this show every single week because at some point I'm going to get it right and he's going to win. Had him at the Fortinet 2 weeks ago, finished a share of 6th place. It's not too far off. It's coming. It's coming, and it's going to come again and again and again because he's that good.
Yeah, Jaden, I talked with Jeff yesterday about Theegala. Like his run last season really started here with a T8. And Jeff, we also talked a little bit about Burns, who is probably gassed at this point, right?
Yeah, look, I mean, you've got to adjust your model, strokes gained hangover this week. Now, the one key thing is Sam Burns is only 26. So he's getting up there. You know, once you hit your late 20s, that's when the hangovers really start to kick in. But I still think he's got that youth on his side where he's going to be able to recover by Thursday. Realistically, I don't love the guys under plus 3,000 this week that too much. I mean, McCarthy, I like him for the setup, but I don't really want to bet him at that number. It's kind of similar with Henley. I think if I was going to go with someone, it probably would be Russell Henley. Top 5 in birdie or better percentage, top 5 in strokes gained approach over the last 50 rounds. I like that. But I think the answer is probably just bet Sam Burns. At plus 1,100, we said this yesterday, he is not priced low enough. I mean, this is the 12th player in the world. There's nobody else in this field ranked in the top 40 in the official world golf rankings. The talent gap is massive, and it's not being reflected enough in Sam Burns' odds. So, I think that when you're looking at these top players, you either bet Burns or you just go down further and you start cards at 3,500.
All right, Jason, speaking of when, not if, some expect Davis Riley to be a hot pick this week. Plus 4,000, Mississippi native, rising star in the game, just finished, I believe it was 33rd in the FedEx Cup standings. So this could be the perfect place for him to capture that breakthrough first victory, right?
Absolutely. That's a massive price for Davis Riley. Look, in that clip we played last week, I was giving your traders a little grief for only having plus 850 for the correct score at 17.5, 12.5 at the President's Cup last week. I will give him the fact that Davis Riley, I thought was going to be half that number this week. I expected him to be right around plus 2,000, 2,500. To get him at plus 4,000 is a massive discount right off the bat. A Mississippi native. We know how good he is. We start talking this time of year about who might be on the American Ryder Cup team a year from now. I know we look at the President's Cup and we go, well, it's probably going to be about the same guys. Last year's Ryder Cup team, granted, extenuating circumstances, but only 7 of those guys made the President's Cup team this year. If we're looking for players who can make it to Rome next year, Theegala is one guy that I've got on my list. Davis Riley might not be that far off. He is that good to get him at 40-1 this week, I think is a great number. I will play that.
It seems like a good number here, Jeff. I mean, guy went to neighboring Alabama for college. Should be comfortable on these Bermuda grass greens, too.
Yeah, let's not overthink this. Just going to echo everything Jason said and take it a step further. I mean, if you're looking at recent form, Davis Riley has been a guy who will come in and miss a couple cuts and then just, blast off in his next start. He lost like 5 strokes on the greens at Silverado. Who cares? It's POA. It's the West Coast. He really wasn't playing that bad until the putter just went sideways. This is a completely different, parkland setting. Flatter greens, they tend to run really pure. I think it's actually a very good comparable to Copperhead and the Valspar, where Davis Riley probably should have won, in a playoff earlier in the season. So we've got Sam Burns as a good comparable. He's won here before, the guy who took down Davis Riley at the Valspar. I think this is a great setup. You worry a little bit. It's the hometown thing. He's from Mississippi. Is this going to be too much pressure? But I don't know, man. It's plus 3,500. I mean, as Jason already mentioned, I thought we were going to get a shorter number on him too. I was ready to bet him at like plus 2,800. Jump on him now because I feel like by the time we go off, it'll probably get to that number.
Yeah, whoever takes this tournament is going to need to go low because the winner here has shot at least 18 under par in each of the last 6 tournaments, including 22 under by Burns. So talking long shots, do you have a favorite long shot you like this week, Jason?
I've got a bunch of them, and I will play a handful of long shots. Before the last 2 years, Sam Burns, obviously one of the favorites last year. Sergio Garcia actually had a pretty big number 2 years ago, even though he was probably the most talented player in that field. Prior to that, we saw a bunch of guys with bigger numbers, though. Cameron Champ, who hadn't won previously. We saw Ryan Armour win this thing. So we've seen some guys with big numbers win in not too long ago. And so I'm looking at a guy like, first of all, either guys that have just inherent value on a weekly basis. Matthew Nesmith, 30th on the PGA Tour in strokes gained on approach shots. Last year, that was better than Rahm, better than Spieth, better than Cantlay. The guy is a good iron player. All he needs is a pretty good putting week, and Nesmith could be right there. Adam Svenson, it was a bad week for Canadians at the President's Cup. Adam Svenson is going to reverse that. I've got him for at least top 10s, but I'll play a little outright as well. Callum Tarran's a guy that really impressed me during his rookie season on the PGA Tour. I've got him contending as well. And then maybe a couple of guys off the Korn Ferry Tour. Will Gordon has been all or nothing. He's really volatile, But if you're betting a guy to win, you don't really care if he has the consistency to finish in 23rd place. Give me all or give me nothing. Will Gordon has a chance to go out there and shoot 23 under and win this thing. I'd say the same thing for Robbie Shelton, who's coming off the Korn Ferry Finals as well.
Jeff, which long shot has the ability to go low?
Yeah, Will Gordon's a guy I wrote up this week. I think he sets up well for the course, too. He got 4 par 5s in play. His strength is off the tee. He's 15th in total driving on the Korn Ferry Tour last year. 2 months ago, Will Gordon got to 21 under and won an event on the Korn Ferry Tour, so he can go low on this course. He's volatile, like Jason said, but he's been playing probably the most consistent golf of his career. This is his second go-round on the PGA Tour, too, so he's got like more experience than I think people realize. Played this event 2 times in the past. I like that. I like the plus 10,000 number. And then I'm going to take a shot with Patrick Rodgers this week as well. You throw in a shorter par 72 or just like a par 72 where there's 4 scoreable par 5s. Patrick Rodgers has a shot. I mean, you've got the purest greens on the PGA Tour. If his putter gets rolling, I mean, he can gain you 8-10 strokes with that club alone this week. So, again, a player who typically disappoints, but when he gets up in the odds, he's also pretty good for a place. So you look at Patrick Rodgers, plus 8,000 in the outright, but also I think plus 800 for a top 10. Not a bad bet.
All right, here we go. Moment of truth. Real quick here, guys. Jason, your pick to win the Sanderson Farms Championship. Who is it?
Like I said earlier, only a matter of when, not if. Denny McCarthy is going to win on the PGA Tour. He's a great putter. He's gotten better in all areas of his game. I don't love the number. The number's kind of drifted a little bit shorter, but I do like Danny McCarthy a lot this week. Great history at this golf course.
Jeff Ulrich, you're up.
I'll go with Davis Riley. Just too talented not to win. He's going to win soon. He's probably going to win multiple times over the next year now.
Love it, dudes. Good stuff. We'll talk to you guys next week on Tuesday. As always, thanks everyone for hanging out with us. Madden starts here at high noon and the slate tonight at 5 o'clock. And then we're back here live in studio for a Wednesday edition of The Sweat. 11 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow morning. Much love.